You know, family. It's moments like this that remind us why we stand behind Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, with so much love, pride and determination. Because no matter how much noise the haters make, no matter how many smear campaigns they try to orchestrate, truth and brilliance always rise to the top. And that's exactly what we're seeing today, because Meghan's incredible podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, has just been honoured with the Signal Award. And not just any award, but the Listener's Choice Award for business people and entrepreneurs shaping culture. Now, let's take that in for a second. This isn't some small or random recognition. This is the people's choice. The listeners, the audience, the ones who tune in, who connect, who understand what real creativity, intelligence and empathy sound like. The same public that tabloids said had turned on her is out here voting in record numbers to celebrate her work. That's not just poetic, it's powerful. Because once again, the Duchess has proven that you can't cancel authenticity, you can't destroy truth, and you can't silence a woman who knows her worth. When Confessions of a Female Founder first came out, it was different. It felt like Meghan had finally found that perfect balance between professional and personal, between meaningful conversation and warm intimacy. Every episode carried her spirit, smart, thoughtful, and deeply human. She didn't need shock value or royal gossip to make people listen. She had something far more valuable, sincerity and substance. She sat down with incredible women who had built businesses, led companies, and faced their own battles in male-dominated spaces. And what was so special about it was that Meghan didn't just interview them, she connected with them. You could hear it in her tone, in her questions, in her laughter. It was real. For those of us who followed Meghan's journey, Confessions of a Female Founder wasn't just a podcast. It was a reflection of her life. It was the story of a woman who had been underestimated, scrutinized, and sabotaged, yet continued to rise. Every conversation she had was layered with unspoken truths, the struggle to be respected, the fight to be seen, and the grace it takes to build something in the face of constant opposition. Meghan took her own experiences and used them to elevate others. That's leadership, that's strength. So when the Signal Awards announced their nominations and Meghan's name appeared, the squad was ready. Oh, we showed up! The Sussex Squad mobilised around the world, retweeting links, voting non-stop, spreading the word like wildfire. Because we understood what this meant. It wasn't just about a trophy. It was about reclaiming the narrative. It was about telling the world that Meghan's voice still matters, and that millions still stand behind her. And it worked. The results speak for themselves. The Signal Awards reported unprecedented participation. Over 385,000 votes from more than 127,000 voters across dozens of countries. That's not just engagement, that's a movement. That's the global Sussex community in action. That's the world saying, "We see you, Meghan. We love what you're doing. Keep going." This isn't the first time Meghan's power has disrupted the status quo. Remember how archetypes dominated streaming charts when it debuted? She was one of the first modern royals to create a podcast that focused on real-world issues, particularly those faced by women. And while the British media tried to mock it, claiming it wasn't relevant, those same critics watched it win awards, top Spotify charts, and spark international conversations. And now she's done it again with Confessions of a Female Founder. But this new award hits differently, because it didn't come from industry insiders or selective panels. It came from the people. It was a vote of love, of recognition, of gratitude from listeners who genuinely connected with her message. And that makes it even more special. Meanwhile, where are the tabloids now? Where are those so-called royal reporters who spent years insisting that Meghan and Harry were irrelevant or fading away? Funny how quiet they get when Meghan wins something. You'll notice they never highlight her successes. When she receives global praise, they suddenly miss the story. But if there's a rumour, even an obvious lie, they're the first to plaster it across front pages. It's pathetic, really. It exposes how the British media has lost credibility, because the world can see the double standard. While they were busy inventing scandals, Meghan was out here working. She's not on reality TV. She's not gossiping in palace corridors. She's not leaking stories or begging for attention. She's creating meaningful content. She's building a brand, as ever, that embodies her values: quality, purpose, mindfulness, and care. She's using her platform to lift others up. That's what leadership looks like. That's what class looks like. And let's talk about this idea of female founders, because Meghan is redefining that term. She's a mother, a wife, a creative, and a businesswoman. She's not just running a company, she's shaping a cultural conversation about how women can build and lead with compassion. She's rejecting that outdated notion that ambition makes women difficult. Instead, she's showing that ambition can be rooted in empathy, that you can build something powerful and kind. You know, the haters love to pretend they don't care about Meghan. They love to say she's irrelevant. But look around. Every time her name trends, every time she achieves something, they lose their minds. Because deep down, they know she represents everything they tried to suppress. Independence, success, self-respect, and a refusal to play the victim. She's not waiting for anyone to rescue her. She's building her own legacy. And you know what's even more inspiring? Meghan's never bitter. She doesn't lash out. She doesn't respond to every smear or every insult. She lets her achievements speak for her. And that's what drives her critics insane, because every time they predict her downfall, she rises higher. Every time they call her a failure, she wins another award. Every time they say she's gone quiet, she re-emerges with something even more impactful. This Signal Award win is not just a recognition of her podcasting skills, it's a recognition of her impact on modern storytelling. Meghan has a way of connecting hearts, through empathy, through understanding, through truth. She listens. She gives others space to share. And in a world obsessed with shouting, her ability to listen stands out as revolutionary. You could tell from the feedback that listeners felt seen, heard, and validated. Many of them wrote about how Confessions of a Female Founder inspired them to start their own ventures, to take risks, to believe in their dreams. That's the mark of a visionary, when your work doesn't just entertain, but transforms lives. And here's another layer. This award also belongs to Harry, because behind every powerful woman there's a supportive partner who believes in her vision. Prince Harry has been steadfast, proud, and unwavering in his support of Meghan's journey. He's her rock, her teammate, her biggest cheerleader. While some mocked their partnership, it has become one of the most beautiful and inspiring love stories of our generation. Two people united not just by love, but by purpose. They're using their platform to make the world better, one project at a time. The global support behind Meghan's win also proves something else, that the Sussex brand isn't limited to one country. It's global, it's modern, it's timeless. From the US to Africa, From Europe to Asia, people connect with their message of compassion and independence. That's why the participation in this vote was so diverse and international. People everywhere see a bit of themselves in Meghan's story. The resilience, the grace, the refusal to be defined by negativity. Now, it's funny how the same outlets that once mocked her for leaving royal duties conveniently forget to mention that her so-called step back has led to some of the most impactful projects of her career. The truth is, Meghan and Harry didn't step back. They stepped up. They took control of their narrative and used their freedom to serve causes and audiences that truly matter. That's why it's so important to acknowledge victories like this one. Because each time Meghan wins, it's a win for women who've been told they're too ambitious, too outspoken, too different. It's a win for anyone who's been underestimated. It's a reminder that no amount of hatred can dim a light that's meant to shine. And yes, we're all hoping that Meghan will gift us another season of Confessions of a Female Founder. Because let's be honest, the world needs more of those conversations. The authenticity, the warmth, the intelligence she brings, it's rare. In a media landscape full of noise and shallowness, Meghan's work stands as a beacon of depth and meaning. She's redefining what success looks like for women in media, in business, and in leadership. But whether she returns with another season soon or later, the impact of what she's already created will continue to echo. This award is proof that people are listening, that the truth is louder than hate. And so, as we celebrate this victory, let's take a moment to appreciate what Meghan's journey represents. It's not just about fame or recognition. It's about perseverance. It's about standing tall in the storm and refusing to bow to injustice. It's about continuing to create beauty in a world that tried to break you. That's the Meghan Markle story, not the one written by bitter tabloids or jealous commentators, but the one written by her actions, her grace, and her unshakable belief in herself. So, to our Duchess, congratulations, you did it again. You turned another chapter of triumph into history. And to the Sussex Squad, to everyone who voted, who supported, who defended her when it wasn't easy, this win belongs to you too. You proved that the truth always finds its way to the top. And as always, family, if you're proud of Meghan, if you're inspired by her resilience, if you believe in this mission of truth, empowerment and positivity, make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and keep sharing these stories far and wide. We're the voice that lifts her up when others try to tear her down. And if you'd like to support this channel and keep our message strong, show your love with a super thanks or donation. Every bit helps us continue to shine light where others spread darkness. Because together we are unstoppable. Duchess Meghan's Confessions of a Female Founder pod won a Signal Award. I really loved the Duchess of Sussex's Confessions of a Female Founder podcast, even more than I enjoyed Archetypes. Coif felt like Meghan understood that she needed a broader subject message to hook listeners, and within that framework she found more intimacy. Her interviews and conversations were so great on Coe FEF, and I wish she would do another season. Alas, if she ever gets around to it, it will probably be a year or two from now. It's clear that her biggest focus, right now, is on building as ever into an even bigger brand. Still, the streets remember Coif, which is why Meghan's podcast picked up a Listener's Choice Signal Award in the category of Business People and Entrepreneurs Shaping Culture. The Signal Awards announced their nominations a month ago, and they allowed the people to vote for Listener's Choice Awards in various categories. I know because I voted. The Sussex Squad provided the link to vote, and it took 2 seconds to vote for COAF last month. I kind of believe the Signal Awards got a bump from nominating COAF as well. In their press release, they mentioned that there was unprecedented participation, as the Listener's Choice campaign drew more than 385,000 public votes cast by upwards of 127,000 voters, marking a 126% increase over 2024. They also mentioned how international it was, with people in dozens of countries casting their votes. Anyway, congrats to Meghan, and I hope we eventually get another COFF season. Please, this is the Royal Sussex Squad, celebrating the brilliance, the strength, and the unstoppable legacy of Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, a woman who continues to win, to inspire, and to redefine what power really looks like. Long live love, long live truth, and long live the Sussexes. Stay Royal Sussex strong.